Hi, everyone. Welcome to Picking Up the Pieces. I'm Sam Ruth. If you are new to the group, I have a horrible migraine, you guys, for two reasons. One, I've been on the computer way too much because my brain has been having all sorts of ideas and I have had to get them out. And when I'm on the screen too much, it doesn't sit well with me. And something's blowing into Colorado. We've been having weather. And so I just am not feeling well. And I'm still here. This group is not only for you guys, it's also for me. And I want to talk about the power of groups and why I do them, why I have this community, why I have other communities. Um, this came up in a group I'm a part of yesterday. I kind of was talking about how much I don't love social media, right? If you know my story, you know that back in Michigan, right before Jim and I reconnected, I had a business partner who said, "You have no online presence. We have got to let the world know about business. That's how people find people in this day and age." And I didn't want to do it because I don't like technology. I understand the benefits, but it's not my favorite thing in the world. Right? It's a blessing and a curse. Like, I understand the benefits, but it can be a headache, right? So we compromised and we started with LinkedIn. Jim found me right away, and here we are. I'm in Colorado. I knew this would happen. When we connected, I said to my lifelong friend, who was my maid of honor, "Oh my God, do I respond?" And she said, "Why wouldn't you?" And I said, "Because if I do, I'm going to end up having to move to Colorado." Like, I just knew that's always been our connection. And I was in this group talking about the fact that sometimes just doing posts, figuring out, did I talk about grief yesterday? Should I talk about mental health today? I put a lot of brain power into what to talk about, quite honestly. And somebody was talking to me about a different way to look at it. And we just were having these conversations and I got a lot out of it. And that is the power of groups. It's different than a one-on-one conversation. There's so much value. And I started doing groups when I was an intern, when I was getting my master's degree, when I first met Jim, right? Everything can always come back to him, no matter what I'm talking about in here. And it's how I started. Like, I did more groups than I had individual clients. And I could see what people could get out of it, even if they didn't talk. Even if they just sat there and listened and didn't say a word, they could come to me later and say something that so and so said really struck a chord with me, or really helped me recognize something in my own life, right? And it really just always sat with me, and I understood the benefit. And so when I left that place, that job, I went somewhere else and created groups that didn't exist there and became landmark programs that other programs were created from, because groups are necessary. And I have this for you guys, but like I said today, it's also for me. Next week is my back procedure that I've been waiting 6 months for, basically. And I'm nervous about it without Jim. And I get to come in here. This is my safe place where I don't have to worry about having a migraine and not doing my hair and feeling like shit, basically, and saying shit, right? I don't have to worry about that. This is my community. These are the people who get it without words. And you get it. And there's value and there's so much power in that. And so over the weekend, I was with someone who saw me giving out grief hab cards at the farmer's market. I met someone, we were talking, somehow work came up, And she said, what was the person I was with asked what I was giving out. And I said, my Grief Hab cards. And she said, what's Grief Hab? This is somebody I've known for a few months in Fort Collins. We've been becoming friends. And when she asks me what I do, I say I'm a psychologist. I don't like sales. I don't like selling myself. I don't like feeling salesy on social media, right? Coming back to the brain power I put into thinking about what I should talk about. And so she asked if I would show her what I just gave this person. And she looked at me. She was offended. And she's like, I cannot believe you've never told me about this. And my two mentors, who are very important mentors and people in my life, have told these stories, their own versions of how they didn't share what they do with people in their lives, and they were offended and said, how could you not tell me this is what you're doing? If we don't talk about what we do, if we don't share it, people don't understand the value. And so yesterday in my group, I started to understand that people need to know what I'm doing. It's not about being salesy, right? And so even in this group, even in this community, I don't really talk. I might share a post about Team Ruthless. I might once in a while say, do you want to book a call with me? Right? I might share about Ruthless in the Rockies. I put that stuff out there, but I don't super promote it because I don't like being salesy. But here I had somebody saying to me, you don't even really tell me what you do. Do you know how many people could I know that need to be a part of this? And let's talk more. So I want to just take a few minutes today to let you know exactly what I do. And thank you for being in this group. It's for you, but it's also for anybody else who you know that needs to be here. So please share it. Please invite people. The only way Grief Hab is going to get bigger and get out into the world is if we let people know that it's out there. And besides this group, what I do with those of you who work with me more than in this group is I take any and everything off of your plate that's stressful. Like any and everything. I have a client in California who had car trouble and was on the side of the road, and she was overwhelmed and she called me, and I was calling AAA in California because it's overwhelming when it's us. If that happened to me when I first lost Jim, I would have called my brother in Michigan. Same exact thing. But knowing that we have somebody that we can hand that stuff off to is huge, huge stress relief. And so I'm going to just give you my little pyramid so that you know, because I don't share this. Grief Hab is my free community for any and everyone who has been through a loss, or for any and everyone who wants to learn how to be there for friends and loved ones who have been through a loss. I do this every Wednesday, picking up the pieces. I share tools and resources. We have chats, and it is a free community. It's this place. Team Ruthless is one step up. It is not free. It is inexpensive, but there is a cost. We have weekly groups on Wednesday nights. I'm adding a group on Tuesdays during the daytime, but so far there hasn't been too much activity, or there was a lot of request for that. But now that I think that we're into spring, summer, I think I'm probably going to hold off until the fall. However, if anybody wants that on during the day, I am available for that. Absolutely. People just aren't showing up right now, and I get it. I want to be outside also. Who doesn't when it's nice? If you need it, I am here for you. But currently, Team Ruthless meets Wednesday nights every week, every single week, Wednesday nights, 6 p.m. Mountain Time. It is one of my favorite parts of the week. We don't get dressed up. We don't care what we say. Literally, it is when we laugh, we cry, we rant, we rave, we talk about whatever, we cheer each other up. I have your backs. if you are frustrated with your boss, your attorney, your doctor, this is where you can let me know what's going on and I can support you more than in that group, right? This is where you are paying for weekly groups and Sam to have your back in more ways. So it's a smaller group, right? It's smaller, interactive. We talk, we vent, but if you need more support from me, you also have access to me. You get discounts on any and all services. So the people in that group who are going to Ruthless in the Rockies get the lower price. You get first come. You find out first. You get first access. You get all of the things. You also get calls on any and every holiday. And I mean any and every, like all of them, Jewish holidays, Valentine's Day, Memorial Day, because those days can be hard, because those days can be overwhelming, because some people are with hundreds of family members and need to unwind after, and because some people are alone and need something to look forward to. So that's Team Ruthless. A step above that, because Team Ruthless is growing. And eventually there will be a lot of people and it might not be small enough. Step above that are my smaller groups. 8 people max. We meet for a year. The same 8 people, not 8 rotating people. 8 people max. You work together for a year. It includes a retreat at the end of the year in Colorado. And it is kind of like what Team Ruthless is now, a small group of people that is together every week. You have all of the things in the lower levels that I'm talking about. The discounted prices, first access to all of the things, access to me, all of those things. And then a step above that is working with me one-on-one. You can reach out to me anytime. If you're in this group and you don't want to be a part of any of those things, but you have questions, please reach out to me. You do not have to work with me to say, I need to find somebody in Florida. Will you help me? I have a question about mediums that you had on a few weeks ago. Can you help me find one? You can reach out to me anytime. If I don't know the answer, I will get it. I will find it and get back to you with it. Guaranteed, no matter what. But I have not shared this information with you guys well enough. And I learned that about social media yesterday. And if you don't know what I do, you can't understand it to ask to work with me. And people need to know that Grief Hab is more than just this place. That if you have a doctor that you feel isn't listening to you and you want somebody to help bridge that conversation, that's part of what I do. If you want somebody to help talk to your kids' teachers, if you want somebody to help talk to your kids, if you want somebody to help figure out a meal plan and find the nutritionist to go get the food and make it and have it in the fridge. If you need a mechanic and you don't know which is going to rip you off and which is going to treat you well, any and everything, right? I'm not a mechanic, but I'll call 5 and figure out which is going to give you the best price. That is what Grief Hab is. It is doing all of the things that get in the way of healing, handling death certificates, closing accounts, all that stuff that knocked me down and interfered with grieving and healing. And so I just wanted to take the time because in my group that was so valuable yesterday, I recognized that I'm not letting you know. And I want you to recognize that you might love this group where you can sit back and observe, and you might want a smaller group like Team Ruthless, where these ladies are knowing each other so well that we talk every day. We interact. We know about each other's kids and relatives and spouses and things, and we feel like family now. And If you want that and if you want to learn more, please reach out. It's tonight. And if you're watching this replay, it's every Wednesday night. And thank you so much for being here on a day that I feel really awful. That's what this is for. This is my safe place. And that's what groups are all about. And if you ever want to be a part of them, the links are in the comments this week, last week, always. And if you want to know more about Ruthless in the Rockies, please reach out. It is going to be wonderful. And it's full of people like this. And getting to know these people years ago is how I got here. And so finding your people, even if it's not this retreat, finding a retreat, finding a thing with your people, a group, even if it's not this one, really, really makes a difference. And thank you for being here today. I'll see you next week.